and welcome back to Wednesday. That means Trekyards Mission Briefing, a weekly dose of first look, review, discussion, theorization, analysis. Ooh, what's that? I don't know, let's find out. Ooh, we don't know the answer? Let's invent the answer. But it has to make sense. That's what we do here on Mission Briefing. Hi Stuart, what are we doing today? Let's go.
Hi, how you doing? I'm Captain Foley. Nice to see you.
Yeah.
Anyway, today on Mission Briefing, we're going to be looking at the Cardassian Hideki ship. That one.
Eagle Moss. It's very yellow on my screen.
I
but
do not have
yeah.
that one.
So
There's no
Stuart.
sound in space.
Oh, sorry.
It's much better.
So Stuart, this Cardassian ship featured in Deep Space Nine first as a miniature and then as a CG model. Do you remember seeing it? First impressions on this sort of, I guess, third ever Cardassian ship we ever see? Or fourth, if you count the freighter.
It's not bad. I mean, as far as Cardassian's designs go, it's interesting. It's very bug-like still. Looks like an earwig and kind of bugs me. But yeah, you can tell it's a smaller ship of the fleet. So it's a nice, nice scaling down of the bigger ships like the Galore and the Keldon. I almost said Kelvin. But yeah, it's a neat little design. And I haven't looked at it in much detail. I mean, I've seen it on screen, but you don't see it very much. So
that's what we're here for. So I watched Voyager live, but I don't think I've watched DS9 live. And I don't think I've ever done specifically a DS9 rewatch. I know I watched like seasons here and there, but this thing never stood out to me. It just sort of was there one day in VFX right at the end, and I was like, oh, it's a thing. And obviously, as I've gotten more into the VFX of Star Trek, I'm like, oh, there it is. I pinpoint and look at the model and stuff, but it never stood out to me. Obviously, I always got the sense that Cardassians only ever had the Galore. This was kind of a nice and surprise when you realise, oh no, they've actually got this sort of fighter craft, which does appear later on a bit more. But it's a nice enough ship. It's a really great Cardassian ship. I'll say that. Like, it fits the bill really well. It's got some lovely little details which we'll explore in this model, because this is the original one from Deep Space Nine, 1999. And just a little disclaimer: the Eagle Moss one is slightly different because they used a fan's model / a custom miniature for a higher detailed body, so the details are slightly off. But because 1999, this is the original mesh. Warts and all, but canon, so there you go. And for such a small craft, it's nice the detail they did put in. But Stuart, as we always ask the question, or at least I ask you because I build the renders, scale. How does it compare in scale to Cardassian ship, maybe, to other ships of similar roles? I really like our next render. It says it's a small craft. How small is it? How big is it? What do you think?
well, judging by this picture, I love that front pod type thing. It almost looks very similar to the Defiant. So I'm wondering if this is Defiant sized, but I'm thinking it's probably a little bit bigger than that, because the Defiant's a pretty small little ship. Now I don't know if this was like this isn't really like a fighter craft. So yeah, I'm saying a little bit bigger than the Defiant.
See, I love that because I love listening to your scales, because obviously I look at them and I make them, and it's great just the fresh analysis, because there are no windows, there's no markers of scale, there's not even warp grills really, not that are super visible, so it's like, what is the scale? And I would have said probably smaller, because it feels like a fighter in the show, but if you actually look at the show, no, it's a secondary craft. So next shot, I've sort of put it with all the sort of primary attack.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and obviously we've seen like the Bird of Prey with the Defiant before, but that's specifically the super teeny version from Star Trek 3, so it's like the very small version. But yeah, there you go. All the real models used in the show, all the default CG scales. They might be different in books and magazines, as they often are, but these are the default scales, and this is the Defiant at 150 meters. So what do you think?
It's a little bit smaller than I anticipated, although I do like my figuring out as a Defiant size, because I hadn't seen these before that. So
yeah,
it's also bug ship size, which is neat.
Just more refined. The bug ship is an all-purpose vehicle. This does feel more like a... Yeah, I guess because having a fighter is a bit of an odd thing to have, because it gets, as we've seen, it gets blown up in a single hit. So that sort of size probably makes a lot of sense. Like the smallest sort of level of secondary vehicle, or support vehicle. Although it's interesting, you mentioned Defiant. The shapes are really quite similar in the front. I mean, there's I mean, it's got a head, it's got a top bit, there's a few little bits of...
Even the round part, like around the bridge.
Yeah. Just, maybe that's fun little parallels.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there you go. There's all the ships that fought in different sizes.
That's really interesting. Well, let's go to the side scale, because that always shows a different perspective. Wow, it's very similar to the Defiant there, eh? Even the side, even the profile.
Yeah, that's weird. That's really weird.
It's good, but... And see, you got to wonder, too, because the Defiant's a dedicated warship. Well, war-type vessel. I mean, it's not built for comfort. There's no holodecks. There's no, single quarters kind of thing.
Yeah, I was about to say everyone shares a bunk, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm wondering what the purpose of the Hideki is. If it is, in fact, kind of a gunship of sorts. I can definitely see that coming from the Cardassian military. So
gunship role.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, yeah, a similar thing. I mean, the Cardassians are not exactly known for comfort. I wouldn't give them that mentality. So you can imagine, if it's a purely military, and they're used to having military craft, you're right, it's a ship with powerful weapons for the size, in numbers, it's very effective, its maneuverability lets them, avoid torpedoes, which is a big thing that capital ships have to deal with. If they can put enough firepower, like a bird of prey, they can put enough initial firepower in, they can do a lot of damage. And just, swarming. Because, I mean, the Galores are sort of the big fleet ships, and then you throw the swarm in, even more deadly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, cool. But, as I mentioned earlier, the next picture is its first appearance in DS9 as a physical miniature. With a bit of a different colour palette, and you can kind of see the sizing there, which probably makes about... Yeah, that's about... Yeah, because the Defiant's meant to be about that size. So that does equate, so that's good. I didn't know there was a physical miniature when I was doing research.
Well, now you do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even remember how often the ship was seen in the show. I remember seeing it in certain Dominion fleet battles, but yeah, I didn't know it had a huge role anyway.
I think it's a ship that oh no. There's some Cardassians that are struggling and their ship's been attacked. Let's save that ship. Look, they're in Hideki. I think it's that sort of ship. I think that happens once, twice. And then obviously in the DS9 battles, it just sort of flies around, and there's a few, like you say, a few hero shots of it swooping past camera. But you can see them in the fleets. But it's interesting because obviously, just like the Enterprise refit and the Intrepid and the Galaxy, when they made the CG models, they had direct reference of the miniatures in front of them. So there's no reason not to get the Hideki perfect, and you can see this is that the detailing is closer to the CG model than to this version that you got model, because they sometimes use fan models, sometimes over detail them anyway. It's a lovely miniature, but yeah, you can see little differences.
Well, let's take a closer look. Let's go to the next picture. This is a shot of it from the rear. The side detailing, like the glowing elements, the way those greebly parts stick out is very interesting. So I would assume those are the plasma warp grill things.
Yeah.
With no line of sight.
Do Cardassian ships have... I mean, they have the Bassards, but they haven't got the warp units in the same way. So maybe there's Yeah, maybe there's just the plasma... But maybe they're open because heat needs to be dissipated. And so, they're so high efficiency that they need those... Because I'm sure there's probably like a... I mean, not necessarily in the design, but it would make sense there'd be like a cowling that could just, doors that could just slide in and protect it. If you go through asteroid belt, you don't want these little greeblies to get knocked off. Maybe it's such a high performance vehicle that this is the heat dissipation area.
Yeah, those claws at the back always intrigue me too. They look like they look almost hinged. Don't they?
Very much so. Yeah.
Yeah. And it is very similar to an earwig with little pincers, which always kind of intrigued me. I'm not sure if it could be for docking. It looks like there's almost an airlock on the end there, so it could attach to a ship and close in on it to secure it.
Or like the space dock their space station facilities. They just sort of attach like a Cylon Raider, just like docking in neatly. And then quick launch. I mean, if these are attack ships, then you want a quick launch system, really, or would that be a good thing? One of the, I mean, we look at a lot of different ships on Trekyards, a lot of original models from the show, and this is an example where it was built for sort of very quick motion blur in stand definition at a low, not hero. And it's got some great physical detail, but you can see that back piece is just a texture. It's just a flat drawn in thing. All these lines are just drawn in. So it's interesting to see the limitations of the time, but it still looks like a nice ship. Just when you look closely, it's like where's some limitations, but it's like it's still like it's still a very smooth ship. It doesn't feel blocky. It has those elegant curves that you want. Speaking of the next view, yeah, I do like that. It's very much like a cowling, like a protective shield, like a that top bit, and then everything else underneath is like that soft underbelly sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, are those escape pods, you think?
No, too small for that. Yeah, so you're slightly different on the Eagle Moss miniature. But they had a detail, and that's that's the problem with smooth ships. Like, what's there to talk about when it's smooth? But hey,
exactly, yeah. And not even any windows to kind of discuss what's where. Yeah.
I mean, given that those big bulbous details on the top and the bottom are slightly different, obviously I don't think they were invented to be anything, but what would you say they were if not escape pods?
I almost have like a weapons vibe, like mines almost.
That'd be interesting.
Could be mine deployment. That'd be actually really neat.
That would be very neat, actually.
I wouldn't want mines strapped to my underbelly, though.
Yeah, but... Yeah.
But if they're not activated until they launch...
Also, what if they're actually individual doors? I mean, you think of a bomber there, it's in one big hangar, but what if each of those is a compartment that does go... or... and then a bomb can come out?
I'd buy that.
So still... Because, I mean, it's a bombing run. I mean, that makes sense. Because, I mean, imagine if each of those was a photon torpedo, or a micro or a medium torpedo, and then it can get in and then drop all, 30? That's going to be a hefty old payload. Yeah.
Take out some Star Wars dreadnoughts. With a bombing run. I know you were.
But on a serious note, I mean, we've seen how kind of unbelievable in Star Trek 6 a single torpedo, 2 torpedoes just rips through the hull of the Enterprise A with shields on. It was kind of strange how effective they were. So imagine going over the Enterprise D and launching 20 torpedoes, point blank. Not that it makes a big difference, but you know what I mean? They can't avoid them. I would certainly design them that way. And then if they're shielded, like that's all heavy shielding with the torpedo inside it. I mean, it's
yeah, it's a pretty brutal attack ship when you look at it like that. Plus, it's small enough to do planetary bombardments as well.
Oh yeah,
it could definitely enter an atmosphere and
yep. Do damage. I'm getting more respect for this as we're inventing things.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Nice. All right, so next picture is a shot from the front underneath. Got some interesting detailing there, like those 2 big pipes. 2 big L pipes.
Asymmetrical design.
Yeah, which is very odd in Star Trek.
But I like it. I like that they're asymmetrical, like different zones are different things. That's a really nice swooping looking ship. It's pretty elegant. I do wish though that there's certain bugs in nature that have, a fluorescent underbelly. I would really like to have seen some like glowing elements underneath to kind of give some extra life, some implication of technology and things. It's too smooth. It's too, You know what it
looks like here? It looks like a sea turtle
with pincers. Yeah.
Well, they look like fins from this angle. Yeah. They're the rear fins, and anyway, not very intimidating from this angle, but definitely cool.
Well, speaking of intimidation, is this front view straight on? Da 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 da. Is this intimidating, Stuart? Da 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 da.
Not so much. Not so much.
It's too curvy, isn't it?
Yeah, and like you said, it's too smooth. There's just nothing going on. There's no real details. I mean, you got could be a Polaron beam emitter there at the front.
Yeah.
Some kind of disruptor device, something.
Yeah, it's funny. The Eagle Moss issue, symmetrical. with pipes.
Very interesting.
And the next view is a close with the Greeblies. I mean, it's just random nonsense, isn't it? But, I mean, that's the only glowing bit, and that implies technology. I love it as a cutout. It's such a cool way of doing it. Although I almost wish it actually came out of the hull and was like a warp grill.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of interesting as well. Sort of break up the shape even further, like have a little bump. Because then we'd have like big bump, other bump, and then smaller bump.
So yeah, it's cool seeing this smaller ship of the Cardassian fleet. It's interesting to find out it's the same size as the Defiant. You can kind of see the similarities there in the design, especially at the front. Also, with this color palette on the Eagle Moss one there, it looks, and even the shape, it looks very Autobot from the front.
Yeah.
It looks like the Autobot arc. It's the same color, and that's going way off topic. So if you want to check out the Autobot arc, we did a Trekyards episode on that, so go check it out.
We did, but do you have more appreciation for the ship now after?
I always do.
Yes.
So yes.
Yeah, because that's a pride of what we do here. We often allow new renders, new views of things that were actually in Trek, and these are seldom seen things. It's not necessarily the most prioritized ship in terms of the detail level, but it still actually works quite well. And I'm sure in the show it looked great. And yes, it's a nice reinvention of the wheel. The Keldon was a quite a cheap, kit bash of a Galore. I think it works really well personally, but this is nice to see another design that just fits in so well. I really would have loved, for all what I don't like about DS9, it would have been great to have seen a larger Cardassian fleet style, especially when they had CGI and VFX. I mean, it would have been expensive to build more, but not too much. But rather than having, you look at the Dominion fleets, it was 15 Galores. Would have been nice to have had a few different variations. Only the script called for it.
Yes.
DS9 is not known for ships. I think they have like 7 new ships in 2 seasons. 1 ships. But yeah, it's a good ship.
So you have it, guys. Let us know your thoughts and comments down below about this ship. What do you think? Do you like it? Do you not? Let us know. Also, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, click the notification icon, and as always, check out all of our links down below. We got links to Eagle Moss. You can get that very same ship from them, and enter the discount code Trekyards at checkout. Save some money.
I know it's a bit weird to jump in, but go to picture 2 again, the top view. I just had a thought. Just compare it to the Galore, which is actually, I know it was, the problem with this thing is that that was designed and built at a different time based on a miniature, which was then recreated accurately, but smooth lines are more difficult, whereas other ships were done smoothly. Is it just me, or does the Hideki look newer than the Galore?
It does. It looks like a newer breed of Cardassian ship, more refined, a little more smooth, different plating. Yeah.
And I don't remember the timelines exactly, but wouldn't it have been interesting if it was, let's not say built for Defiant, but wouldn't it have been cool if it was actually the Defiant, they're doing a good job, smaller, high-powered vessels, smoother hulls, more refined armor, whatever. It's such a different design to the Galore in terms of the feel. The smooth. It does just feel more advanced.
It was before the Dominion, I assume.
Yes, I believe
so. It's not like there was some Dominion influence there with the bug ship design. But anyway, yeah, that's interesting. It could be just a newer ship in the fleet, the next generation of ships, as it were.
Well, it first appeared in Profit and Loss, which was season 2. So yeah, that was. Yeah, it wasn't designed for that. I just think that's interesting because I think Defiant season 3, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting, But who knows? Maybe they saw. Small ships are easy to design and build because they're smaller and less intricate. So it would have been fun if they saw, they spied on the Defiant doing sneaky things and were like, oh, we want in on that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what do you guys think? Do you agree with that? As I said, let us know down below.
Sorry.
Do all those. I know it's good. It's good. Do all that other stuff too. And if you want the Eagle Moss ship, you can get it. Click the link, head on over, make an order, and then a discount code Trekyards on checkout. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Or just directly support us on Patreon, monthly donation service. YouTubers like us really rely on it, so if you can, please do. or one-time donation at Trekyards.com, or join our weekly live streams where we talk about big topics, talk to fans, and you can super chat your way into our hearts with those.
That's right. So until next time, guys, I'm Captain Foley.
I am Commander Coggins. Bye, guys.
We'll see you soon.